Warning. Warning. This is not a test. This is not a test.
Drop it.
From the virtual cockpits to you, get ready to experience the peak of iRacing skill. We welcome you to the OB Builders Cup Series. Prepare for breathtaking speed, full commitment, and all-out action. The show starts now.
Tonight, the OB Builders Cup Series looks to go road course racing as we take a trip down to Florida. Tonight, it's the Victory Designs 188 as the OB Builders Cup Series and Moonshiners looks to shine light brightly around the Daytona International Speedway road course. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ball on TV's coverage. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is Jeremy Miller. Our producer this evening's DJ Line, using cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Tonight's going to be an interesting one, especially since this was supposed to be Mexico, but since that does not exist on iRacing yet, we return to Florida to Daytona Beach. And tonight's going to be a tricky one for some drivers as we have to go left and right at a racetrack which we have run the road course configuration for NASCAR stock cars for a couple years now. But tonight's going to be interesting as well to see how teams build their road course setups, Jeremy.
Yeah, coming over here to Daytona, obviously not quite sure where they're going for several weeks. It says 12 turns there. It's not including the extra chicane for the NASCAR layout, so we'll have 14 turns this evening. But new build, first time at a road course, but it's a track they're familiar with. Not having to build for a completely new beast, that might actually give them an advantage here, Justin.
Could open up a lot of opportunities for some drivers since, for many, there hasn't been too much time to be able to get a turnaround for their road course racing skill sets. We are expecting more tire wear than usual, where in past races, drivers could get away with no tires like a GT car. Not today is the expectation here from Daytona Beach, Florida. We'll see if the expectations live up to the reality for many of these teams. So far, 9 different winners on the schedule have picked up their chances for the postseason. The spots are getting tighter and tighter and more limited here, Jeremy.
That fight for the playoffs certainly starting to matter more and more every week. We move into the summer stretch. This is where driver seasons fall apart, and this is where we see some unlikely heroes start to rise to the top. So we'll be looking to see how that continues to progress, as we saw Chris Davis actually got his first win of the season last week, and he's going to be looking to push his way further forward in points. I don't know if he's playoff eligible based on the starts, but some other drivers will be looking to get their first wins as well.
Make some more starts. Change the complexion of things right now. You see the rest of the starters towards the bottom of the field. Some drivers still need to pick up a fair amount of ground in those point standings for the playoffs. So the stages are 15, 30, and 52 tonight, as you see on your race analysis this evening. No fast repairs. Remember, open setups, only stage cautions on the road courses, meaning if there's any incidents, you won't get a caution flag to be able to save you. That's been just confirmed by those from race control. So as well, those tire sets going to be pretty tight. Not expecting green flag stops, though, is the critical thing. These drivers expected to make it on fuel all 3 stages.
Yeah, no green flag stops necessary, but we may see some at the end of these stages, drivers possibly looking to flip the stage, gain track position when other drivers come down under yellow for the stages. But with the fuel window that I was given here, flipping that second stage might be really tough. So we might see the leaders stay out there, but flip the first stage. So we should see quite a few options on the strategy tonight.
See how the drivers fare out tonight. Here from iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway. 27 entrants are on the list here tonight. We'll see who's the best on the road course. Qualifying just came to a conclusion. Drivers just about moments away from making the way to tonight's starting grid here from the World Center of Racing. So as the drivers make their way to the racetrack and onto the surface, it's time to get ready to see how they'll start tonight for the OB Builders Cup Series. Alex Coffey's on the pole alongside Corey Moore. Those drivers separated by near half a second in qualifying for Dig. Then it's Timothy Harper in third. Barry Sanders with a vintage look will start in fourth. Fifth position goes to Tim Wortman Jr. Brandon Fitterplace will start in the 6th position with the iRacing helmet. Next up in the running order, you have Jeffrey Taylor and Matt Cox going very colorful tonight. That car shines very brightly to the lines around the racetrack, 1.7 seconds off the pole. Shane Wyatt starts in 9th, and Victor Pfluger, needing points, will start in 10th. Jeremy.
First driver to miss the top 10 tonight in qualifying is the 11 of Paul Gallimore, starting in 11th. Joining him, Kevin Ruff in the 14. He's one of the drivers on the outside looking into the cutoff. 13th tonight, Jose Medina looking to bounce back from some struggles a week ago, and Brandon Bikey is in 14th. Our 15th place starter this evening is Blaine Wilson in the 18, and joining him, Jamison Middlemas in the 16 and 16th. Our 17th place starter here tonight is going to be Chris Davis, last week's winner, and some fuel mileage, was able to hold on to get it done. We'll see what he can do on the road course. And Johnny Shade joins him in 18th. And our 19th and 20th place starters this evening, Aaron Matthews in the 5 and Jordan Schmeetz in the 22.
21st spot goes to Sean Rogers. Kyle Holden start in 22nd tonight. Then you have Nigel Christensen, who should be in the 23rd spot. Colt Blazkowski has amongst drivers that was not in the session during the qualifying. You also have the mix of drivers Nick Kane and Ryan Huff towards the back of the field this evening. Huff in a different look. Jared Clark start towards the tail, scheduled start 25th. Of note, Kane and Blazkowski are the drivers that are not in session for the gridding procedure, and it looks like we may not see those drivers as a result here. So let's look top to bottom at your race order for today. Your keys to victory here on the road course here in Daytona.
Just stay on track. Don't slip off. Don't give yourself slowdowns. Don't get a penalty for cutting the course on accident. Keep all 4 tires on the racing surface, and you should have a good night.
Take a look at your all-about sheet metal pole. Award winner Alex Coffey is at the time by near half a second. Blistering quick around this racetrack here this evening. See if he lives up to some expectations here tonight. So just about all set to go. See the weather conditions, by the way. There's fairly hot in terms of track. 117 is your starting point. It is about 130 in sim for this start. Just about all set to go racing. Happy to have you with us. We're covered to the OB Builders Cup Series as we go racing from Daytona's road course. They come up to the Sim Wrap Market start zone. Green flag is out. We're underway from Daytona.
Relatively orderly start as we head down in turn 1. Corey Moore with a great launch on the outside, stays even with his teammate down here, but Coffey has the preferred line there on the inside as they scatter out behind.
Coffey quick to clear, I should say. Top 3, all dig cars so far in the order. As many of these drivers make it simple. They want to try and get single filed out. A couple try to make some moves like Feder Place in the Team Aero Machine, but able to jump back in line right behind Tim Wortman Jr.
They work their way here through this high-speed section of the infield. These kinks look easy to get through, but they are not. You got to be very careful not to overdrive them, as you can send yourself flying out into the grass wide, and there's no way to recover coming up on a hairpin just after. As they get through that hairpin, they're coming back to the oval.
See, some of the drivers square themselves away before they get to the early portions of this stage already. Drivers like Wyatt picking up a few spots. Jared Clark has already towed the car for his start to the race. Everybody else gets into full swing of things. So the top 8 now broken away from everybody else. Wyatt is leading the second pack at the moment, with Cox, Taylor, should say, Gallimore, Ruff, Middlemiss, and many others part of the choo-choo train. And that's going to be the tough thing. This is the type of racetrack where rhythm's important. We have someone that's had the rhythm broken. Feder Place just about wrecked the car and has fallen out of the main pack.
He was able to hold on to it there, gave up a lot of track position, still high up on the banking, moving backwards into 34. He's going to lose another spot here to Kevin Ruff. They'll be side by side into this heavy braking zone for this chicane. Not easy to get done here, but they're going to play nice for now.
Ability to squeeze with those big sausage curves. They were a big factor a few years ago when NASCAR competition came around here, and when some of the real world racing came into play. Seems to eventfulness when the Busch Class used the road course at one point before it moved over to LA. Feder Place now setting up back around 11th, a -5 from that slide, by the way. And I was about to say, usually in these types of races, evenly matched speeds seem to gravitate towards each other. We'll see a lot of these drivers try and balance themselves out as we see Kyle Holden with the motion rig tonight.
On board here with Holden, he was our second fastest car in practice, invalidated both his laps in qualifying, started 22nd, already up the P14, making very quick work through his field. Needs to keep that car clean. Now he's guaranteed 2 cautions tonight, so there's no reason to rush these moves. He's looking for a way around middle miss now for this is for 11th or 13th, sorry.
See them working their way through the gears here too. Going to be important to manage those all throughout the night. Make sure there's no mistakes going through them, through all 5 gears. It's going to be very important to make sure you get the gears right in the braking zones too, because just how much potential is for the wheel hop through the braking zones as you shuffle through the gears, as these brakes will glow bright red all night.
And part of the new build, this tire now wears out on the road courses even. We used to see drivers go the entire race on one set of tires at the road courses with the past tire model, but with the update now, they will wear out. So even more important with the braking, you cannot afford to lock up because that slide will really eat away at the rubber.
See how everyone else is dealing with the choo-choo train. Aaron Matthews just got a meatball flag. Troubles involving the 18. He wasn't able to hold on, but Matthews seems to have having some issues with his respective car. Yes, that's destroyed. RS Button Boxes replay.
That is night over to 5 here, as we're going to get a look at what happened here on this replay. Headed into the backstretch chicane for the 5. Had to be something went wrong in their braking. You see very hard on the brakes. They're lighting up red. Locks up there, and then just takes off into the fence. Odd looking wreck there. It looked like the car just stopped turning.
And that hard hit is already your second driver with issues this race. Jared Clark from the back so had those issues. Already the lead, more than a second for Alex Coffey. Coffey looking very comfortable off the corner exits, just picked up 2/10 last corner alone.
Coffey, a good road racer, going to be looking to see him be solid over the course of the evening, just avoiding making those mistakes that we've talked about. That's all that he needs to do with a gap like this right now, this early in the race.
Managing the expectations, managing the race itself, also important as you see Kyle Holden. Some signals to be able to go. Holden has driven up 10 spots already. That's only in less than 3 laps complete, mind you. He is moving. He is scooting his way through this field very efficiently so far, as to be expected when you have speed in practice like he did.
Yes, I do expect him to be a player for the race win tonight. He's going to have to just work his way through this field still. He's going to get 2 cautions, as we mentioned earlier. Both will be an opportunity for him to reset and establish that progress further forward and closer to the lead. So he has plenty of time to become a threat this evening, and I think that's what he's planning on doing.
You have to remember, for a lot of these teams, Jeremy, some of them didn't really have the same focal point last week, maybe on Daytona road course. There was NIS competition during the build week that allowed drivers to learn here as Shane Wyatt goes off the racetrack. Wyatt regathers things, losing a couple spots. But I was about to say here, for a lot of these teams, they may have not put the focus on running on the road course quite as much as trying to learn what the new oval package is going to feel like with these cars, or has been feeling like so far.
Yeah, the primary focus for all of these teams likely was, the issues there. Paul Gallimore gets sent off the track. He's going to loop it a little bit in the grass. He should be okay if he's going to be rolling. Now, careful with the rejoin. Some drivers having to move offline to get around him there, as we'll take a look at the RS Button Boxes replay.
Bit of a sketchy one for BMP. See right there. He actually did turn down across the nose, getting loose. And ends up gathering back up near where he took out his 2 teammates that closed up behind. So we keep going, but you're talking about the team dynamic. in terms of the focal point for setups this week?
Yeah, teams definitely were very focused on getting the oval stuff right as quickly as possible, as that is obviously what we primarily run with these cars. Teams put together some stuff for the road course here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was abbreviated testing compared to getting ready for the ovals, moving on to Pocono already. I think most of these drivers are probably already looking ahead to Pocono. Not a lot of guys love the road racing too much, just a select few really look forward to these races, so usually not too much of a focus for a lot of these teams.
Jeffrey Taylor, meanwhile, is holding on to 7th. Apparently, Kevin Ruff has just had an issue. He just fell down the pylon. Also, Taylor way off as well. So 2 different issues going on there. 14 losing ground. The 9 nearly sailed it off in the in and out. See what happened to Ruff on the RS button boxes replay as also plenty of time. Yep, stepped out.
Yeah, meanwhile, back live, Shane Wyatt, just for the second straight lap, blew the hairpin after turn 1 through there and went way off track and lost some track position. As we saw Taylor as well, he was off. He only lost a couple of spots, so he's able to get his car back righted in the proper direction without losing too much time.
See some of the others still trying to hold on. As mentioned, Taylor all over the place this lap. So I lost spots to Bikey and to Fetter Place this lap. Just doesn't seem so comfortable right now in terms of the line, in terms of the momentum right now in the BMP car.
Already so much discomfort in road racing for many of these drivers, as we talked about, but even more so now with this new build. I mean, for years now, Justin, we have been racing these road courses where the tires just do not wear. They are made of plastic and they stay strong the entire race, and now we have fall off, and that's completely new. So everybody's relearning this car, relearning how to road race. As you see Kyle Holden, he's gotten a grip of it very quickly. He just moves up to the 9th position there, passing the 9 car of Taylor.
Slip through as Taylor gains a lot of time in the braking zone for the chicane, but still better momentum for Holden, as to be expected with Holden's charge. That will now bring the 59 machine all the way up to the 9th position. How would you describe the feel of dirty air on the road courses? Is it how you think of it on the oval, or is it more so just make around the corner and go from there? How would you describe the aerodynamics of the road courses, you think?
It used to be not as prevalent at the road courses as it would be in real life, for sure. I have not driven this build on a road course, so I don't know how this one feels, but just watching the cars and what they're doing behind each other, it does seem that there seems to be a bit of a effect. And I just noticed on our pylon, we have a new leader. Corey Moore has pulled a second ahead of Coffee after Coffee had a 2-second lead. Wondered if there was an issue for the 54.
Had to have been in one of the horseshoes. Absolutely, can confirm. Coffee off track, has lost the race lead. Less than 10 to go in the stage. So the 54 cooked it, drove his way too deep. Traded one of the horseshoes, and the RS button box replay. Off and away.
Coffee was the fastest car in practice, but my main concern watching him was the consistency of that 54. I felt Kyle Holden in the 59 was just a little more consistent than him, and we saw an error there. Early in the race, still time to recover. Holden still buried from the poor qualifying effort, but Coffee can't afford to keep doing that this evening. He's going to have to chase back down Corey Moore now and take that lead back, but he's got company out back. Tim Harper and Tim Wortman both right there behind him. Harper and Wortman want to get involved in this now.
They've been quietly been doing very well all throughout this race so far. Last time by, they set 1 minute 55s and 1 minute 56s. 155.7 is the pace for Moore. The average pace, though, for the most part, has been in the 155.2s for the leaders in the past 5 laps. The fall off, though, for some drivers has started to reach already 2 seconds. We've seen tire percentages burn off a lot quicker in next-gen machinery this year. With this build now, we're seeing a lot of fall off here tonight for some.
Yeah, and that is what I'm very happy to see. I know I've talked about it multiple times already this evening, but we used to be running our fastest laps of the race on 40-lap old tires because there was less fuel in the car, and that's just not fun. Everybody was running 110% every lap. Nobody liked that. This is going to really test who can be consistent, who can take care of their equipment, and who can be the best real road racer out of the group, and I think that should make the racing way better, too.
That's why there's been a lot of excitement when it comes to this new build. The official series rep Pocono, a lot of big names have flocked to that car now that they have more of a driver focus feel instead of who's the best on saving tires, some would say, for 10 laps, and then you can not push for 40. All while Coffee is pushing. He's within a couple car lanes, some more. He's been chipping away this gap as Moore tries to set things up for the chicane.
Coffee looking to recover from his mistake, closing in on the back bumper of Corey Moore. Moore's been consistent. Coffee definitely a lot more raw pace in his machine, but we've seen already, made a mistake early, could be prone to mistakes. He needs to just be calm, not force the issue. He's clearly faster than the 42 in front of him. That's a teammate. You don't want to have any issues. Just work by him, take your time. You still have plenty of laps left in the stage.
It does kick up right now with some of the drivers with some off tracks. You see just the different approach Coffee has to the corners to be able to get an arc, to get the run compared to the more flatter lines more. It's been running around this racetrack. Two big differences on approach right now. It's Coffee. It's relatively patient on how he tries to set up this move for the race lead. Able to cradle the curbing this time.
Also worth mentioning, not the easiest track to complete passes here at Daytona. Not really too many true passing opportunities. A lot of corners where it's quite a risk to make the move, but you're almost forced to do it. One would argue the heaviest passing zone on this track, being the NASCAR chicane on the front stretch, is also the worst place to pass, as it's so narrow, and running through there side by side could end your day early.
So hard to make passes. Look at the charge, Coffee. Coffee a lot more confident through the braking zone for the bus stop. Through Le Mans. Coffee nearly steps out of the bumps. Gotta hold on to it. He'll have to try and reset again. Top four separated by under 2 seconds, by the way, as they go. So keeping spread apart a little bit here. But not too big of gaps. The next closest car outside the lead group is 4 seconds to the leader. 2 seconds or so back of the pack. And Barry Sanders. So, looking steady for the road course race as we start lap 9.
Sanders, that gap has actually been kind of clicking back and forth there. Sanders doing pretty good on the long run with the older tires here, but Tim Harper has gotten to our leaders here, but he's off out of turn 1. He was legging into the lead there, and he just gave it all up. Tim Wortman Jr. to P2 now. Harper, with a mistake there, gives up that position and a chance to battle for the lead.
That just about puts Sanders back in the battle box. Has a chance that maybe Harper now, he's able to find a little bit more grip to close on up. Nothing doing for now as he stays relatively equal to what's going on with the race leaders. Sanders doing decently on this road course. Seems to have top 5 speed here if he can keep it clean. Mind you, Kyle Holden still running the speed of the leaders. Sanders was right 0.6 quicker than Moore and Coffee last time.
This is where we're really seeing something we haven't seen at road courses. Comers and goers, people who hit the pace early starting to fall off, and we see drivers who are taking their time, not pushing their tires too hard, starting to move forward now. Kyle Holden, as you mentioned, up to the 7th position, still arguably been the fastest car on the racetrack when he isn't dealing with traffic. Gonna be very curious to see what he can do restarting up front to start the second stage and not having to work from the back like he did on this run.
See a point away from Fitter Place and Taylor, who are having a battle right now. No change. Taylor likes to ride on behind the Team Aero machine for a setup. Fitter Place a little bit stronger across the curbing. And looks like Taylor has a run built up. try to go brave on the inside for the chicane. Well, Fetter Place just let the 9 have it and retake 8th. Looks like the answer is going to fight it at the very least for the switchback. Taylor able to get clear.
Fetter Place without much of an angle for the second half of that chicane, forced to concede the position to Taylor and loses quite a bit of time doing so. May have been better off just letting him go in the braking zone and running his corner normally, but not much of a threat behind for the 34, so he should be okay. Up front though here, Coffey still not able to work his way by Corey Moore. I don't know if this is because the tires have fallen off on that 54, or maybe we are seeing clean air be very important for the leader. Could be dirty air impacting the 54.
Yeah, every time he's gotten within a couple car lengths of the back of the 42, 54's just gotten looser and looser, snapped around a little bit. Back to resetting once again. Wortman Jr. has been chipping away the gap too as a result of all this as well. Just slowly closing on in where he was quicker than the race leader last time by. So if anything boils over with this 54, trying to make the move with the 42. The 83 has a great chance to be able to take the race lead. Just no place to take the passes yet.
Yeah, this is an extremely impressive run out of Tim Wortman Jr. We saw him over a second off the fastest lap in practice, but clearly showing he has some good pace on the long run with the worn out tires right now. He's within a second of the lead, but Alex Coffey still all over the back of Corey Moore, cannot get anything done to get around that 42.
There's that arc I was talking about. Coffey's been able to set an up and under move just about pretty solidly to build up runs for the straightaway. Just imagine if we were running without that chicane here, the speeds we would carry down that front straightaway. There's that tire lock we just talked about, a little bit of wheel hop with under 5 laps to go, still no place to go.
Yeah, still looking for a way around, battling for that lead, wondering what these drivers are thinking pit stops wise, if anybody's going to try to flip the stage or if they're all going to push for the stage points. So you got to think some of the drivers who have wins this season are locked into the playoffs, might want to flip the stage, going for the win tonight, take the track position rather than the points for the stage. But somebody like Corey Moore, he could use these points up here, so if he can hold on to win the stage, might be really good for him.
Meanwhile, Sanders has closed up a fair bit in terms of overall interval to Harper. To the leader, it's been about the same. But Harper's fallen off now to the 1 minute 56s. So the 56 starting to slide further and further away from the lead group.
Yeah, we saw him make that one mistake and fall backwards here. Matt Cox looking out into the 6th position here. Haven't talked about him too much. He's kind of just been in his own no man's land here. Not quite with the group in front of him, but ahead of the rest of the pack, running on his own. This can be relaxing in a road race. Really a lot of hard work go into these, not a lot of breaks. Obviously, when you get up to 2 cautions tonight for the stages, you have to stay really mentally disciplined. So not having to work too hard early right now might let him stay mentally focused in for later this evening when he's going to have to start to get more up on the wheel.
The up-ins now go with Sanders now able to move up the spot. Up to 4th where he first qualified. Where did Harper just go? He went down pit road. Harper with an early undercut for the flip of the stage.
Yeah, pits do close with 2 to go. Maybe he didn't think he was close enough to the leader to be able to pit when they come around to that, but he could have definitely ran one more lap there, but he was losing a lot of time with those tires. But if you're flipping the stage, I don't quite think how much time you're losing would matter that much, but maybe he's hoping to get the fresh tires a lap early, pass those guys back, and then get the yellow and restart in the lead for stage number 2.
There it goes off and away. No issues with the normal 14.7. We'll see how that works out on the flip. Still coming up to 40 laps to go overall in the race. All that's wow. Leaders are still close. Moore got a little bit of the wiggles this time. Coffey still in the popcorn seat to pressurize any mistakes. They have pulled back away from Wortman Jr. this lap.
Yeah, these two pulling away from Wortman and Sanders in behind, kind of fighting it between themselves here. We'll be seeing if either one of them want to pit this time. Huge dive back off of the inside. Corey Moore, no fight there, lets him go on the inside. New leader, Alex Coffey, recovers from his mistake earlier in the run.
Well, we've seen how much braver Coffey is in Le Mans. He went very brave there, lost some ground now on momentum here for the straightaway, or at the corner. Seems to be comfortable. He now back up to the lead for this stage. Moore had to know that was coming with how aggressive of a send that was. Normally that is disaster to enter side by side for the bus stop.
Yeah, Moore definitely backed out and gave him the position once he saw the dive. You see both drivers staying out. This time pit road will close the next time the leader crosses the line. Don't think I saw any other takers inside the top 10 behind them. Obviously some more still to come further back, but of the drivers up front all staying out once again.
So it's going to be next time by, pit road should close. So to move forward, Bikey is now amongst those, flipping the stage. Not too many attempting it. Gallimore trying it. Also have an attempt going in. I believe Medina may try it, but he's got significant damage. Will stay out actually. So only a couple people trying it here, Jeremy. Not too many. Most people just allowing the race to run its course.
Yeah, smaller field like this, track position not as important with the stage flips as it would be in a full 43 car field, but still ever important. Any little bit can help. The biggest thing to watch when guys flip stages like this, we start to see pace discrepancies up front. We have to be really careful once we come back around about restart to make sure none of the fast cars run over somebody who might be struggling a little more with pace. That's a very common thing when people flip the stages in these road course races.
See them all rumbling their way to the course, coming to 2 laps to go. Wortman Jr. now hitting the 1 minute 56 as last time by. Leaders have also fallen off on average to that point. Should be worth noting that Jordan Smeets is not having a fun time. He's had 3 spins this run. He's outright demolished the front of the race car. Some of these teams going to be very thankful for a caution flag to take a breath.
That reset will definitely be welcomed by some of these drivers as we still look at Schmitz back here, just struggling along over a minute off the lead, but he's about to get that caution in a couple laps time, and he is going to be looking for that in a big way. Hopefully he can get his ship righted. As you see back up here up front, all of our leaders have stayed out. They're going to finish the stage out and earn those stage points.
Pit road is officially closed as mentioned. So now we look to see where these drivers settle on down. So a fall off band is where we expect it to be, 1-2 seconds. The cars are driving as well in terms of grip levels where we were expecting to be. No major challenges here. In our words, if you're good on road courses, you can drive this car. That seems to be the mindset, at least, Jeremy. If you are one of those that is not great at right-hand turns like some, well, it's even harder.
Yeah, definitely a difficult craft for some of these drivers. You see a lap car up here, Alex Coffey moving around on the outside there. I believe that was Kenny Coppola, or no, sorry, that was Chris Davis. Got confused with the schemes there. Chris Davis not having a good week after his win a week ago, but he has that win. He doesn't care about the points anymore, so a bad week like this doesn't hurt as much as it would have without that win.
Coming up to the white flag in this stage. Dominating stage so far for the Dig cars. Coffey and Moore, two who have maintained control all throughout this stage. Know some of those drivers from Dig and from the PSS side of things spent a lot of time building this road course setup, trying to figure out what to do. And I think they found at least the basics of where they need to go. based on what we're seeing for the pace here tonight. Been able to withstand the pressures and mistakes and show good average speed here tonight.
Yeah, definitely been putting on a show despite the mistake. Leading right now, Coffee up front has been consistent ever since then. Going to be coming around this time to complete that stage, earn that stage victory, the 10 points that come with it. Corey Morton behind him, though. He's not locked into the playoffs. He's 9 points P2 run in this stage. Very important for that 42.
Making their way to the final half of the course. By the way, those who pit 13, 14, 16, or rather 13, 15, 16. So no major issues in terms of where they are in terms of lap count. Did not lose laps from their positions here. You can safely finish a pit stop without losing a lap in this road course with a lap time sub 2 minutes here tonight. Coffee running through the bus stop one final time. He's led the most laps so far in the race. He will, by the end of this lap, have 9 of the 15 going his direction.
See high off the final turn there coming into the chicane. It's going to be an easy stage win here if he just gets through these 2 corners for him.
Wasn't easy with the bit of recovery he had to put in, but Alex Coffey, green-white checkered, wins stage 1. Moore second. Orman Jr. third. Sanders fourth. Matt Cox holding back Kyle Holden. Get the 5th and final stage points.
Not holding off Holden by much, though. Holden had driven his way all the way up there, so impressive drive by Kyle Holden in the first stage.
You also have Jeffrey Taylor going to be in 7th on this stage. Better place going to be back in 8th. Shane Wyatt in 9th. And Sean Rogers appears to be in the 10th position. That's where Blaine Wilson's hanging out. Rogers up 11 this race. There it is. Top 10 complete. That's the stage. So a good stage 1. But it's Coffee who controls it. We'll take a step aside. More coverage coming up. You're watching Ball on TV. Coverage of the Victory Designs 188.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Daytona for more coverage of the Victory Designs 188. First stage already complete, and most of the field coming in for pit stops. The only drivers not coming down are the ones who flipped the stage. Harper, Mikey, and Gallimore will all start towards the front for stage number 2. Your thoughts so far, Jeremy, as we see these drivers complete their service? 4 tires and fuel. Kyle Holden with a great pit stop. Able to jump up a couple more spots with his run past Sanders. Your thoughts on the race so far?
Yeah, we've seen some good action. Coffey made a mistake early, able to recover, make the pass back. Seen quite a few cars contending for the lead. Gonna add one more into the mix now. Kyle Holden's gonna get the restart up front. I think that might be the fastest car on the track. Really excited to see what he can do up front with track position.
Owen Cox just got himself an end of the longest line penalty somewhere. Seen that popped up. Apparently a black also popped up. Tim Wortman Jr. So these two did something on their pit entry. Not sure what they did. I do know Tim Wortman Jr. made contact side by side in a 1-lane area of the pit exit.
Yeah. Looks like both drivers got unsafe pit exits due to the contact that they had exiting pit road. They're discussing holding their positions currently right now. Let's see if the black flags will be cleared. I believe they may both be restarting up front.
It's a little bit earlier, as you'll see on the RS Battle Boxes replay. Because that's the thing, you have to get single file quickly. Yeah, that will do it. Kyle Holden, I think, actually technically did it too.
Yeah, we saw Holden on the grass, Cox on the grass, and I think Wortman ended up pulling off too early, trying to let Cox back by. Everybody was just really confused there, but race control stepping in here is going to set this all straight, and I think these drivers will all be told to hold their positions.
Let's take the opportunity to talk with your Stage 1 winner here, Alex Coffey. Getting set to go here for this next run. He joins the broadcast booth. Alex, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. I got a copy.
How are you feeling about the race car so far tonight?
It feels good. It's the first time I've built a set myself from scratch, so seem to have done all right. Hopefully, we can stay ahead of the curve here on adjustments.
How would you describe that learning process to learn how to build your setup, but also make sure it's good for a brand new package, for brand new tire wear dynamics? How was that all trying to learn last week to do that?
I just kind of went by feel, made sure it handled good, and if it handled good and we didn't slip tires or push the front end, I figured tire wear would be okay. So I don't know what everybody else's tire wear is, but ours isn't terrible, so I guess I did all right.
So now, for the first time, really, this race, you'll be dealing with traffic outside of Corey Moore's dirty errors. So how do you plan to approach this, knowing you have 3 drivers going to be attempting to hold on after flipping the stage here?
Patiently, but also you kind of want to get through them as quick as you can, because once everybody gets heat in the tires, they kind of even out. It's really hard to pass. So we got cooler, less worn tires. I think the passes will be easier, and also if I can get through the traffic before the other guys on the same tires, we'll have a little buffer there. So patiently, try not to make any contact with anybody, but also as quick as I can.
With that being said, once you get back to your team, thanks for your time, Alex.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Alex Coffey getting set for the start of the stage. So far, so good for them. And now one of their teammates, Timothy Harper, going to be trying to hold on. I believe he's going to be busy on the streaming side, Timothy is, to see how things go. His first laps now of the race here under this caution period. It's going to get interesting where we go from here.
Definitely looking forward to see this restart. Talked about the pace discrepancy. Some drivers up here up front that haven't been up front. Tim Harper was up front, but Bikey and Gallimore were both buried back in the field. See how they do with their tires slightly older, but they had the chance to cool down. Oh my God, Bikey just drove into a barrier. He just destroyed the right side of his race car. I cannot believe that just happened.
Well, that's not how you flip the stage. How do you manage that? You have so much room.
That is inexcusable as a driver, and I think he would tell you that himself. Right front's definitely punched in pretty bad right there on the 27. He's probably kicking himself in the ass right now for that one.
Yeah, not sure where he is right now holding up, but I'm curious how he holds up in the stage after this one. So, significant damage, and it's important to note, 9 times out of 10, you break an axle down with this car, you are done. So he's lucky he wasn't done just from that hit alone.
Yeah, just well, we were talking about the pace discrepancy. Like I said, that car is going to be struggling on the straight line now with that damage. I don't know if he got any axle or suspension damage, but could be struggling in the corners too. See the point standings here pulled up. Chris Davis there at the win, locked in a week ago. Some drivers at the cut line. Paul Gallimore, 18 off the cut line, tried to flip the stage here to get up front. Schmitz has had a terrible day, 18 ahead of him. That could be huge for Gallimore.
Yes, indeed. We were talking about things earlier. That's with the updated totals that include the win from Davis. So 10 now punch their tickets in coming into tonight. It's the field of people based on the U.S. for the most part, except for Jose Medina and I think jokingly Blaine Wilson, who claims to be from the Vatican City. Ready to get things started off for our second stage. It's Harper. It's Mikey, who's going to ride their way forward. The first on the newer tires is Coffey in fourth. Green flag is out. Harper leaves the 27 sleeping, and Warman Jr. picked up another black flag somehow.
Yeah, multiple drivers did there. That was because the penalties were cleared, but the ULs were still being told to be served. Gallimore way wide there off the track. Still struggling to get it back. Oh, he hops big time trying to get back on the racetrack. Coffey, oh, he's spinning now. Went terribly for Paul Gallimore. It's what I was warning about with the stage flipping. It can get hairy for those guys that haven't been up there.
By the way, you may have noticed Mikey is gone. That's because he just full throttled into the barrier in the in and out. So the 27 put in a tremendous effort. Let's take a look at what happened to the others as replays have fun here. The 11 going off track quickly. But I will say the 27 is out of the race. I'm not sure why they would full throttle instead of trying to hold on for points. But here we are.
Yeah, definitely angry at himself for his mistake and decided to take himself out of the race there. Not really probably the proper way to do it. Could have been quite a danger to some of the drivers around him, but you take a look here, see Medina back there, and there's going to be a shot at Bikey on the RS spot in Box's replay. You'll see he almost hit Tim Harper, and that's why I'm kind of thinking probably wasn't the best way to go about this, Justin.
I don't think there's any good way to go about, ending your race the way you do. I'm curious if there was a equipment failure or anything along those lines. Something happened after the tire hit. I don't know if the chassis would have been broken. Didn't see any meatball flags previously. But watch, able to make his way through the chicane, set himself up, didn't get lined up the greatest for the restart zone. That's because Harper was able to jump in and keep him off guard, with Harper not expecting things. Then 27 loses ground, and then it gets ugly right about here where should be on the brakes.
Yeah, he made a decision not to hit the brakes and end his night. I think he was just really upset about what happened. And saw Gallimore really struggling with the restart and spun around on the curb there. But up front, Holden restarted up front. We saw him very fast in the first stage. He's just worked his way around Matt Cox there, up into the top, almost top 5. That's for P6 now, off the back of Barry Sanders. You see Coffee here working on the back of Tim Harper. That'll be a battle for the lead.
So the battle is on for the lead already. Coffee looking to the inside. Can't get the poke quite yet. We know how brave he's been able to send it into the bus stop. We'll see if he does that once again. Good restart situation for the 54 to be already able to charge past everyone else on that strategy. As Harper looks like he'll break actually deeper than Coffee. Not bad. Harper's trying to fight this.
Yeah, Harper doing a pretty good job right now, holding on with the clean air, probably really enjoying the way his car's feeling with that. You see Coffee looking the inside of the banking here. Harper's going to choose to run on that higher line. Not too much progress on the inside from Coffee, though. It's going to be maybe side. Oh, Coffee's going to get the dive here. Harper lets him go for the lead.
So Coffee to the point. Already back to where he started things off. By the way, Barry Sanders holds on to 5th. Kyle Holden is the car behind him already. Holden looking to set something up, try and make a move here. Be able to leapfrog forward as Coffee sets the purple lap for the race.
This onboard shot of Kyle Holden. Really love this view, watching him work there. You see the gloves on the wheel. Very smooth driver with the road course. As you can see, does not saw at the wheel much at all, which is what makes him so fast. If I had to guess, that's probably where he's finding a lot more pace than some of these guys. Just not making mistakes, working off the back of Barry Sanders. Hasn't quite moved towards the battle for the lead as quick as I expected, though, but I still think there's plenty of time for him to get there.
Interesting enough, Victor Fluger and Jamison Middlemas, both with significant damage, just had to pit this lap. So a couple drivers are adding themselves to that list. Mikey had already elected to do so previously, so the car damage list is adding up. Coffee with some issues, losing all sorts of ground all of a sudden. He had another slide, this time in the out portion of the in and out. RS Box's replay, let's take a look.
See Fruvi working through the infield again here, coming back up into the oval section, locked it up, almost went fully around just for a bit of a slide, though was able to keep it going, but lost all that track position. Biggest thing there, Kyle Holden in front of him now. I think those have been two of our best cars. That's not what Coffee needed.
Coffee all the way back into 6th all of a sudden. Timothy Harper now the leader over Moore and Wortman Jr. as Holden, as we were looking away, did also make up the ground to make the pass on Sanders. Top 3 have now broken away by more than a second for now. And Holden just making his way on forward. Wortman Jr. doing a very good job of the Warrior Racing Machine here tonight.
Definitely making quite a run. Wortman, very happy to see him doing so well. Harper back to the lead there with that mistake from Coffey a moment ago. Corey Moore still hanging out up front. He's been solid tonight. Holden, though, behind them. He's gotten around Sanders up into the 4th position. Tim Wortman Jr. is next on his list.
Jr. trying to take a more shallower line. Harper missed the bottom. Moore trying to shove it in. No, he elects to stay right on behind. Now tries to block off the inside, trying to take another poke. Resets as Wortman Jr. tries to get the angle on both of them. This has allowed Holden to gain that 1 second difference between the packs in 1 lap. 59 is flying. Coffey still 2.7 back of the leader.
Yeah, big slip from Coffey has sent him well back. Holden has driven away from Sanders and Coffey now. After that was actually pretty close after that slide. You got to think Coffey probably hurt his tires quite a bit with that incident as well. These guys all condensing in on each other. We're going to have 4 cars under a blanket for the lead here not too far from now.
That is, if they let Harper run away here, it's going to make things very tricky to try and keep the lead here. Still have under 10 laps to go in the stage, mind you. Wortman Jr. again keeps it smooth. Coffey bouncing it off the walls right now to push and make up ground. Gained a 10th from that. Still goes on forward as there's the look inside. Wortman Jr. sees the cut. Lets the 59 go. Sanders now tries to move side by side with them. That checked up Coffey pretty big. Sanders trying to hug the inside curbing. Decided to lift after not being able to finish the pass at first with Wortman Jr. Held everyone up.
Yeah, Tim had a bit of an issue through there. You see him back there with Sanders and Coffey now holding the 3, and we've lost a bit of our feed here for a moment back now. Barry Sanders trying to hold all Coffey. I think, I'm not quite sure, but I might have caused some damage on the left front of the 54. Let's see here if I can get a look there. It might have just been my eyes playing a trick on me. But the 54 definitely struggling compared to earlier. No, he definitely does have some damage on the nose of that car, so that might be impacting the pace on the 54 Coffey as well.
Closing on up, Holden is at least. And Holden seems very one with the racetrack right now. 1:54.1 last time by. Half a second quicker than the leader. A full second just about quicker than Moore. Oh, and a bad run for Harper. Here comes Moore for the race to lead. Holden follows suit. Now they battle it out for the lead as the 59 goes.
Battle for the lead up here. Coffey just had a wreck behind them. He has fallen way back in our order to P9. The losing position still. Might be some heavy damage on the 54. Corey Moore holds off Holden for now as our top 5 have all closed in each other with this battle. Here comes Holden with the lunge for the lead.
Side by side for the point. Holden's got the better run. We're trying to fight it from the high side. But it's Holden driving from the back to the front. 21 positions gained over the course of the race. The 59 now looks to try and run away. Now Kenny is the question, but as you said, Coffey down to 9th position. See what happened in his situation.
He just got the curve there on the artist button box's replay, and then Cox, nowhere to go behind him, just sends him sideways. Shouldn't be too bad for the 54, but lost out of track position. Kind of the story of our 2 races there, Justin. Holden takes the lead, and Coffey with another mistake.
Around that same time, Kevin Ruff parked it for the night. couple other different drivers having some issues. So Cox now dealing with heavy nose damage. It looks like it's the same sort of deal for Coffee here too. That might be playing a factor here. So a lot of front end damage for the 54.
Front end damage and rear end damage. Both the bumpers have been pushed in dead in the center. Not going to be good for the aerodynamics whatsoever on that car. You see the 32 of Matt Cox here now. Same damage on the front end of that car that we see on the front end of the 54. He doesn't have the rear end damage to go with it, but also something that's going to be very upsetting to the way that car is driving. Probably going to have a lot of understeer now.
You have major trouble for the rest of the way here. Coming up to 5 to go on the stage here. Holden looking to run away, but the battles aren't done with Wortman Jr. trying to pressurize for third. Harper's tires starting to go off a little bit. The strategy to flip the stage has worked out decently for the 56. Able to pick up a decent amount of track position with the move initially. Doing a solid job to play defense here.
Seeing the same issue had in the first stage though, just falling off a little on the long run. Harper just has not done as well at the tires as some of these other drivers. Tim Wortman Jr. is taking a look up the inside there. That could have been Harry. The 56 almost turned right there by the 83, but they'll be side by side here through the infield fighting for that third position. Harper though going to clear him now and headed down towards the kink.
Their charge outside. Wortman Jr. trying to play with the long distance around to the West Horseshoe. Will he be able to get the run signed up? Harper making contact. And it looks like he'll let the 83 take the spot after that argy-bargy. So Wortman Jr. onto the podium spots now. Apologies over the radio from Harper.
Pretty good racing there between the two of them. I don't think there's any foul there. I don't think Tim will be that upset about that contact. A little bit of a block here, though, out of the bank section of the oval. Going to be headed down to the backstretch bus stop here, side by side. Not a corner that you necessarily want to be side by side. Tim Harper backs out of it. Wortman gets the right away to the corner.
Trying to attempt, gets lined back up. Now, coming up to 4 to go on the stage here. Wortman Jr. trying to move up to the outside to build up the run. By the way, Kyle Holden, he's now ran 1.7 seconds up. Harper just confirmed on the radio, he is flipping the stage again. 56 pit lane this time by.
56 is pushing his fuel window here for a final stage, stopping this early. Will be able to save under the yellow, but it could be tight for him, but I think he must be comfortable with the number to make the stop right now when he could have won an extra lap.
Interesting play here. Will this work out? Tailwards amongst those, by the way, currently sitting in pit road now to join that damage list. Fluger has returned back to the racetrack out of those, a part of the pit registry that's opened up. No issues with service at all. Off and away goes Harper.
Next few laps for Tim Harper should be easy laps. Don't want to push those tires too hard. Got to run it nice and soft. Keep the rubber cool, keeping him wearing as much as you can. No reason to push. He's going to merge out here and just got to get to the end of the stage.
That's a big key thing, making sure there's no mistakes. He hasn't really made any tonight. Coffee, who kept control all stage 1. He's only been able to get up to about 7th so far. And it's going to really need for a better stage 3 here. Damage both ends of the race car. Absolutely hurtful for the 54 speed. Better place is the next car on deck.
See, looking through here, a little bit faster than Better Place there in the 34. I still think Coffee's a bit faster overall, but that damage definitely has reduced the difference in pace as he works to chase down Better Place for that position. The big issue for him, though, is once he passes Better Place, that next car up there, that is not for position. That's a lap car. There is a 5-second gap to the car in front of them after for the next position for Alex Coffee.
Here's the move. Oh, a bit of a squeeze. Sanders dives inside. Wortman Jr. Here we turn himself for good measure. Coffee is flipping it. Coffee is in.
Possibly the right decision here for the 54. The only question mark for me is can't repair the damage under green. You lose too much time, so he's going to have to finish the race out with that damage, Justin. He pit under yellow. He'd be able to fix that, but he would have to give up all his track position. Really a double-edged sword for the 54. He had to choose to give up one thing, could not have both.
No, he's staying. He's
repairing
staying.
a little. Maybe it's a little enough damage that he has enough time to get it fixed. It'll be really interesting here to see if he gets it fully repaired or not. He is a big track, does have time, and obviously just has to not go a lap down, and he'll cycle back up front.
We've seen about a minute cushion for some of those who've already pit before. It's an interesting strategy, by the way. We just had an hour rage quit. I think that's the best way to put it. When Sean Rogers spun out, he elected to do some burnouts and loop-de-loops through the in and out. He's no longer in the race. So the 44 joins the DNF list. Under 20 cars are still running. So there goes Coffee. And he looks good. He'll still remain on the lead lap. That's how big of an amount of time you can get on pit road here. That stage caution, the only reason I guess you could try that.
Yeah, really heads-up strategy call by the driver of the 54. He was gambling a little bit with that call, though, Justin, because when you're out on the track, you don't know how much damage you have. You know you have damage, but you don't know exactly how much it's going to be. So a bit of a gamble, hoping it would be enough to where he could get it fixed and get back out, but he was right, made the right call, and he's given himself a chance to win the race, coming out a little bit older tires to start the final stage, but it will at least be in the race.
Just trying to hold on as long as they can to close at the stage Holden is now. So, less than 2 to go on the stage. Pit road should be closed here. Didn't receive the notification yet, but shouldn't see anyone else try it. Holding the biggest move of the race, Ryan Huff. That's Huffy puffed his way up to 10th. But of course, this run also, Smith and Christensen also picking up some spots on the back, but they are still running lower in the said running order. So far, so decent. We'll say for some of these teams to be able to at least make their way in. Huff was amongst those who had more than 2 minutes of repairs done during the last caution.
Yeah, how about this drive from Ryan Huff? Not a driver that we necessarily always show the spotlight on, but really consistent here this evening since he had those troubles earlier with the damage. The second stage has been perfectly driven by him. Up in 10th, gonna currently look to get some stage points here and looking to really turn around some of that momentum for himself.
Still close, by the way, for the battle for third. Wortman Jr. still trying to keep up with Sanders, provide some pressure. No major mistakes so far since the move for the 81. Wortman Jr. just has the speed to maintain. That's about it seems right now. So we are 1 to go on the stage.
Final lap of the second stage here. Holden out to a pretty big lead over Corey Moore. Comfortable at this point to just cruise the rest of this out. Been extremely fast all night in the 59, has worked his way through the field. Wortman, though, not done with Sanders. Let him by a few laps ago, but he's looking to try to get that position back and earn that 1 extra point here when the stage ends.
Still trying to send it onto the inside. Locked off by Sanders. Sanders still playing defense. Wortman Jr. tries to find a way to poke and prod their way around here. Bossman still has the pace now, going to build up the buffer here as they come to the final half lap of the stage.
See Kyle Holden out front here, 3-second lead over Corey Moore in the 42. The battle we were just watching, a little under 6 seconds off the back of him. He'll move into the bus stop on the backstretch for one final time in the stage, and it's just one more set of corners before he takes home the stage victory.
Coming around to end off stage 2. Kyle Holden, so far this race, looking very smooth. Ended up starting for the back after what was a no time put up qualifying session. He's able to rally his way forward. Your winner in stage 2, Kyle Holden, here at Daytona. Corey Moore coming across the line in second. Barry Sanders third. Up almost a second and a half over Wortman at the end. Cox holds on to 5th. Fenner Place 6th. Then you have a fair ways back to the rest of the drivers in the queue. Shane Wyatt in 7th. Wayne Wilson got an 8th. George Smeet still on track after getting repairs done. Line for points. And rounding out the top 10 here, Ryan Huff. Will it be Huff? Yes, it will, because Taylor returned to the racetrack laps down. And no issue there. That's the 10th card. There's the stage. Take a commercial break. We're watching on TV for coverage of Moonshiners. Moonshiners Racing League action. The OB Builders Cup Series continues after this. Welcome back to Bowling TV. More coverage of tonight's action for the Moonshiners Racing League of Builders Cup Series continuing on. Most of the field coming on to pit road. In fact, everybody has come to pit road except for really nobody. So even those who attempted to flip the stage there, Jeremy, they still came in a pit, including Harper, who just topped off on gas to take the lead.
Fuel only for Coffee as well, so they definitely pushed themselves into a spot where they weren't going to be able to make it to the end, but what they were able to do is still flip the track position by taking fuel only here. Harper with the lead. Coffee also able to not make up all the track position from his incident, but what he did do was get a free damage repair. He's able to repair the car and come back down here for just fuel only and come back out running up front there in the 4th position.
We'll see if he's able to contend for this race lead now immediately. There's still going to be about 18-ish laps to go and get back going. Let's see if we can take the opportunity to speak with one of our drivers here. Kyle Holden is one of the teams with Team Aero and is your driver who picked up the stage. Kyle, do you have a copy?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I see you let some cars go here. What's going on?
Oh, we got a little speed in there. Wasn't paying attention to the mile an hour and got a little too fast.
Oh no, you've done it before to charge from back to front. Now what's going through your mind that you're going to have to do it a second time this race?
Yeah, we got a little bit more laps, so there's a little bit more time to maybe get to the lead, but we'll see how this works out. It's going to be tough for sure.
How was the team's building process for learning this new package and learning how to drive this road course?
Yeah, it's definitely different than before. You got like tons of grip the first 2 laps, and then after that it just starts falling off like crazy. So you really got to back up your corners and just kind of be really easy, patient on the throttle. Keep it real smooth and just get into a groove. Otherwise, you're going to make mistakes left and right.
So now, quite simply, how are you going to approach this now that you're at the back?
I think the first couple laps we're gonna have to pick off as many positions as we can and just try to protect our tires as best we can. I think we got a pretty good line, pretty fast car here, so I think we can get around them as long as we don't make too many mistakes, and we can get around some of these guys pretty quick.
To get back to your team, thank you very much for your time, Kyle.
Appreciate it.
Kyle Holden getting set to go to restart at the back here, Jeremy. This is why pit execution is important.
Yeah, he just put himself in quite a precarious position here. Was going to have not an easy battle for the win, was still going to have to fight for it, but a relatively clear path, and now it's going to be quite the hill to climb for him to win this race.
This is with 19 laps to go in this race. Still 1 to go until these drivers get the command to go. So it's going to be Harper, Moore, Coffey, Sanders, Wortman Jr. Now your top 5. Now there's a lot of discussion for some of the drivers about the road course, but hey, Mexico wasn't there. Your thoughts on what we've seen in Mexico, by the way, because Shane Van Gisbergen in the rear world race dominated the race in Mexico City.
Yeah, it was a really cool event. Good racing. Shane obviously put a bit of a stomp in there on the field and put the final stage into a little less of an entertainment in terms of who was going to win the race, but still really good racing throughout the field and really cool event. Going to be interested to see if they're going to go back there. Saw some stuff about San Diego today. I think that could be put there in place in Mexico. I think you look at the logistics of the schedule, it's pretty clear NASCAR wanted to be in Montreal this past weekend and couldn't get that deal done in Mexico City because it would have made a lot of sense to go Michigan, Montreal, Pocono, but I still think nevertheless it was awesome to see event. Daniel Suarez winning on Saturday. How about that?
Yeah, able to win on home soil. People seem to forget that was actually the 39th starting position too, with him having the DNF. Or rather the crash, I should say, in qualifying, that in normal circumstances would have been a DNQ. So technically, they didn't score points or race earnings from that. But it's still good to see for Suarez to win on home soil. So
Yeah, well, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to saw a producer note from DJ about bringing it to Pittsburgh. There was another rumor today. NASCAR eyeing Philadelphia as well for a street race. So not quite Pittsburgh, DJ, but Pennsylvania.
I know there was a rumor a few months back about that too at the University of Penn, or in terms of one of the Ivy League schools. It'd be similar to what we see with the Coliseum. It'd be interesting if they make it a points race. It'd make things interesting. Apparently, Brandon Bikey just chimed on saying, "Hey, that Bikey guy sucks." Nice to see he's taking a clean heart on wrecking himself into the wall. The reference going over everybody's head. So, it's Harper, it's Moore, it's Coffey and Sanders, Wortman Jr. and Fender Place, Wyatt and Wilson, Smeets and Cox. Of note, Matt Cox still in the top 10. He spent 51 seconds getting the repairs done from that stack up with Coffey. Just about ready to go here for this restart here. Your thoughts on what we should see on this restart, Jeremy?
Yeah, definitely going to be an important restart. Our final restart of the evening. They're going to be looking to pull through to the lead here. Harper on older tires with the splash and go there. Same with Coffey on the inside, Moore on the outside. He's been up front all day. Had some control earlier when he was leading. We'll see if he can take that control back and maybe hold on to the end.
Let's see what happens here. All set to go for the restart. So get ready to see the pace car peel off. Fluger, by the way, got a penalty. This restart. Yoel specifically. Green flag is out, back on her way. A good start once again for Timothy Harper as the battle's on for second. The 54 makes it easy. Retakes the spot. Sanders for third, already trying to block off Wortman Jr.
Big protective move there by Sanders on Wortman, able to keep the fourth position. Now see Harper and Coffey with two drivers on older tires have moved in the first and second. We've seen Harper really fast on the short runs all day. Coffey's been one of the fastest cars on the track. Can't make a mistake this stage. If he's flawless, he has a good shot to win here, especially with Holden's penalty.
It's going to get interesting to see where things shape up here. Holden already is battling for 13th position. You see some of the separations, the rest of the field. A couple drivers still very slow at the far end of the racetrack. Wortman Jr. gets single filed out. Most of the field does. Holden has already made his way up to 13th fully. Already the top two have checked out. Moore now leads Pack 2.
These top two, quite a big gap here over Moore back there in the third position. Sanders just off the back of him. Harper right now still in front of Coffey. Needs to make those tires last, as I've mentioned. Been the biggest struggle all day for the 56. A little bit of a slide there on the rears. Harper's going to lose a little momentum. See if Coffey can set up the pass here. Harper going to protect the bottom of the racetrack.
Remember, he was a contender last time out when it came to Nashville. Could have pulled off an upset we've seen for a couple different drivers who are at the bottom of the point standings to pluck their way to the top. And for Harper, he's one of those drivers that are in the lower portions of the standings outside the top 20 coming into tonight. 17 laps of defense. Easier said than done, though. It's been having his best drive all season here.
Gonna be side by side for the lead. Another slide there from Harper. Coffey's gonna take the point now. New leader in the 54.
Coffey to the point, able to make the pass. Harper sticks the grip. Now Coffey looks to set sail quickly. So Coffey looking like it's his night right now, but can Holden pull off an upset here? He's going to have to do it in 16 and a half laps. The thing is, He'd have to make back at least 7 seconds, not including making passes like this one to the BMP car. Smeets off the racetrack. Oh, it's some trouble in front. Harper having some issues. Several sorries going over the radio from Huff in particular. So more chaos reigns. That was because Huff turned shade.
Quite a big piece to bite off here for Holden if he's going to get it done. I think it's going to be a really, really insurmountable gap, but we'll see if he has the pace to do as we take a look at the RS button boxes replay. Huff just into the corner too deep, gets into the 45.
We're going to be pressing their buttons now, looking to try and figure out where they can find extra speed now. Wortman Jr. still providing pressure to Sanders as they go. Been like this all run long so far for these two. Oh, big slope by Moore. Parking the bus and stacking them up.
These three drivers under a blanket. You see a big group behind them starting to collect in on each other as well. Wortman and Sanders have seemed to have not been able to get away from each other for the entire second half of this race. Still nose to tail here. Up in front of them, Moore starting to fall back to the nose of Sanders. Wortman will her way around the 81, and don't look now, but Harper's hung with that 54. That battle's not over up front.
So far, so good battling so far. Juju Train starting to form up for third spot still. Colden, by the way, up to ninth spot on his own for those checking in on that progress in the past couple laps already. Moore, just playing different lines here, likes to run the shower line, play some defense, really back up the corners right now. Some of these air drivers have been sitting a lot more deeper than him in some areas, not all. Oh no, a slide for Sanders takes him out of the top spots. Out of the top 5 he goes.
Momentum still going to be crawling here as he gets going on the banking. Should be far enough ahead of Wyatt where the 7th spot is where he'll settle in. Big moment there at the worst time in the race for Barry Sanders. He had done so well up to that point.
Pressing situation for him, but Holden still continues his drive. Still equal with Coffee. 7.2 seconds is still the interval. Did not gain anything the past lap or so. He's got no one to draft off of. It's now down to just raw pace in terms of this battle right now. You see him just working with the gear shifters, trying to make sure he gets it down to speed here.
Gets through the chicane pretty good there. Just was taking a look at the pace here. It just doesn't have the pace right now that would be good enough to get there to the front. He's catching this group in front of him though. He's going to need to make really quick work of all of these cars, and then he's going to need some issues to occur up front, whether it just be battling for the lead, holding people up, or Coffee making some more mistakes and getting off track, because what the pace is looking like right now would not be enough to get it done.
Not enough right now. Still got to find his way around some of these cars easily. Holden does. Right now, some defense being played by Wyatt. Mind you, they're all getting held up by Wortman Jr., who slipped back a little bit with Fetterplace making a pass. Matt Cox has been all over the rear end of the 83 for the past couple laps.
Yeah, Wortman here fell back behind Fetterplace, back to Cox here, and then Sanders out there behind them. Fetterplace up the P4 side, so we've seen him running all day moving forward, and Matt Cox as well looking to try to pick up some positions, which would be the highest he's been running all day as well. People coming to the front at the end of the race, starting to click good laps when it matters most.
Absolutely. Rumbling their way through the strips. 14 laps to go coming up. All the separation building up here. Scene still in control for those with PSS setups behind the wheel. Coffee. Still getting good runs out of the final corner. Has not been able to shed away Harper his strategy mate. Right now, still keeping things at bay is the 56.
Harper's done a great job holding with Coffee. Saw he made the mistakes, which let Coffee by, but he's kept in touch, and we've seen Coffee make mistakes throughout the course of the evening. Some intense battling back here as we have 4 cars really all on top of each other, working for that 4 position. It's Wortman, Cox, Fetterplace, and Sanders. Holding that lap lost a little bit to our leader. He's not just doesn't have the pace that he's looking for right now.
See them all patterned up right now. Cox maintains behind. And I find it interesting, the paint scheme tonight. He ended up going with the chrome look. And if you look closely, you can see the amount of shine that pops on through every time they go through areas where the yellow lines are. You can see the yellow lines physically on the car with the world view on the rear spoiler.
He's been running a lot of solid red and solid blue this year, so I guess they were running a little low on paint this week and just threw what they could out there on the car and left the rest of it chrome. But definitely a nice looking paint splattered scheme, and I do like the reflections as well. Nice to see, and some cool angles and some cool shots with that, of course.
Meanwhile, the ascension continues for the 59. Still no gain on the overall interval, but it's still gaining on track position for positions. Holden up to 7th now. Close up to Fetterplace's lap traffic. No, Wortman Jr. is actually the one slow. The 83 for a second time this run. Did not get a good run in the final chicane and lost another spot from it.
And that allows Cox by him. Cox up the P4. See Fetterplace working out there behind Tim Wortman as Matt Cox runs the esports line, as they call it, up there in front of them. Always a point of contention. People not too happy about the fact that that works as well as it does on the sim. But these 5 drivers all right on top of each other still, putting on some really good racing for us.
Yeah, Wortman Jr. not having a fun time. Another slide on the tires. Those tires are completely falling apart and turning into mud. Remember, one slide can cost you up to 10%. It can be deadly for your race. But Holden going to take a poke to the inside of the 34. Able to try and get at least a run built up there. Holden is one of the faster cars at the racetrack in terms of overall speed here. As the top ticker says, the revenge tour is on. Another move for 6th.
He's picking up all these positions, probably will pick up a few more, but the lead is just too far away at this point, over 7 seconds behind. But as we take a look at that lead, Tim Harper has just not let the 54 of Coffee get away, keeping Coffee honest. Also, the best Harper has seemed to have done on his tire so far this evening, not falling off quite like he has earlier on in the event.
Checking back in up front still. No major issues there. Sanders, an error move. Fetterplace drops behind his teammate. Sanders led on through. Sanders nearly sent it to Holden, in fact. That's how much momentum he carried there.
Pretty deep there. Almost got into the 59, as you mentioned. Holden gained a good bit of time. Oh, that's because there must have been an issue up front. Coffee and Harper both slow. Harper's going to get away with the lead. Coffee over a second behind. What happened here?
Another mistake for Alex Coffee. RS Button Boxes replay. Watch the run to in and out. It's been a trouble spot for some today. Locks up the tires on the slide. Keep an eye right here. Then Harper, lucky he chose high.
That completely changes the complexion of this race. Now, 54's tires are going to be very upset. Harper lost a lot of time going wide. Kyle Holden now is at a gap that could reasonably be closed after what seemed to be race over. This was exactly what couldn't happen for these guys up front.
Lucky to not have any damage. Still holds on to the lead. That overall trimmed the gap about 2 to 3 seconds as a result of that mistake. And now, Harper has a more than 1 second lead again. Tough thing's going to be, can Coffee close up? He buzzed those front tires aggressively there.
Yeah, and what a masterful job by Tim Harper to avoid that wreck of air. It could have been major damage for both him and Coffee if he got into the 54, was able to avoid that. But as you said, Coffee's tire is definitely not happy with him right now. The gap nearly 2 seconds to the lead of Harper. Corey Moore in behind, probably licking his chops, hoping to get up there and battle that 54. Matt Cox, meanwhile, has closed in quite a bit on Moore as well. This is the fastest we've seen Cox all night.
He's been rapid all throughout the night at times, but now he's been able to really find a rhythm, get himself moving forward here. He's found a good line for the in and out though, be able to get it arc down to close up some ground with that high berth to be able to make their way through the corner. It's about adaptability and getting the damage fixed in the case of Cox here. That car nearly snapped around though there.
Still working those tires, trying to move forward. Holden right now, I mean, this race has completely changed for him. He looked out of it and he can see the leaders now. I don't know if he could quite see them before, but that's completely in sight. And it's easier to catch somebody when you can see them than when you can't.
That I agree with absolutely. Holden right now just about to set sights for the move on the 32. Coming up to 10 laps to go. Still about 20 minutes of racing to go. Think about it time-wise. Now, what does Coffee do to close up last time by? Slide officially did cost him 2.3 seconds. This time by has not been able to close too much outside of his favorite move at the bus stop.
Holden's closed in on Cox and Moore here. Those two get racing side by side. Could hold up Holden. He's going to be looking to try to get Cox before Cox gets to Moore. And he's going to look to make those passes both as quick as he can.
See them all lined up. Stern here. Holden ready to make a move. Ducks to the inside. Holden trying to take himself back into the top 4. Able to slip his way forward. Cox falls back in line. Next up is Corey Moore in the ascension through the pack.
Up there to the 4th position now, working on Moore, as you mentioned. That'll be for P3. Sanders with a slide in behind them. He'll lose a little bit of time to this group. Top 5 all within 4 seconds right now, late in this race.
Just needs to find a way to poke around the gold machine. It's backing up the corners right now. Holden seems to be waiting for his tires to punch forward. There's a punch forward there. Opens up the door on Moore, the dig machine. Oh, and Holden clipped the apron. Holden holds on, big save.
Mistake he couldn't quite afford there, lost a lot of time. Not going to end his chances, but definitely not going to help either. Going to have to regroup, reset, get back to that 42 and make that pass.
All of them making their way through. Still, the interval between 1st and 4th is 3.4 seconds. Coffee has trimmed the gap down by 0.6 the past couple. So he is chipping away at the gap. Just not quick enough quite yet. Speaking of quick, Holden taking advantage of a rough run through the chicane by Moore. Likes to wait until blocking over the 42, not making it easy.
A little bit of a slip there, but that will make it easy. There goes that position, holding up the P3. Moore trying to make it difficult, made it easy with a mistake.
Gotta go through. Down the gap, 0.3 of a second. Down to coming up 0.2. Looking outside, Coffee. Cuts hard, tries to get the diamond line down. Coming at 8 laps to go.
These two battling up front is going to have Holden looking really good. He's gotten that gap closed down to within 2 seconds. Those two will battle. That'll slow both of them down. Coffee gets wide and handsome there off of that turn. Going to be headed down through the bank and looking to the backstretch bus stop.
Seen how big the sends have been for Coffee here tonight compared to some of his other competitors in the braking zone. Not too much of a send this time. Just let it roll, let it bleed through. Let's come across the curbing. Coming at 8 to go here at Daytona. And don't look now. Kyle Holden, now that he's cleared on by the other cars in the field, is starting to chip away too. He's under 2 seconds to the leader. Oh, for the lead. Coffee takes it to the inside. Pushed Harper off the racetrack. Harper loses ground. There goes Holden to the inside for second.
Coffee making that move, pushed Harper wide. As you'll take a look here on the RS Button Boxes replay, also gave up quite a bit of time. As you see the sharp angle on the inside there, Coffee not as quick through there as you want to be, forces the 56 off. Don't know how the 56 is going to feel about that move, but Holden was able to gain a second in one corner. And look at the live shot now, he's almost to him.
Right into the conversation for the win once again. Plenty of time here, coming to 7 laps to go. Decent amount of it to work with, but how will this go? It's just going to be about plotting and planning. We know Holden is an extra bit better right now. Remember, a couple lap difference on the tires here too.
Better tires and just has been better overall pace throughout the evening from the 59. He hasn't made the mistakes the 54 has. That 54, not only on older tires, made one of those mistakes on this run, went for a slide in turn 1. That's going to be hurting his tires as well. A big run here down the back. He's going to be looking for the move.
Near contact. Try to push him back up. Coffee try to play defensive. Holden now resets on the curbing. Some bold moves there. That was aggressive on that block by Coffee, trying to force Holden to the inside.
The question at this point is not if, it is when will the 59 get side by side with the 54, and how will Coffee defend when it gets to that point. It's going to be 7 to go this time. That's a lot of time for Holden to set it up. He's going to be able to pick his moment here. Doesn't have to rush it.
There a block. This time Holden goes to the outside. As a lane takes it deeper. Coffee hugs the inside. Holden going to get the squeeze to work from the high groove. We'll have to reset yet again. They have a 2-second buffer to play with, mind you, so plenty of room for these two to battle as they go to the horseshoes.
Coffee essentially put Harper out of the equation when he shoved them wide there through the chicane. Harper's tires also began to struggle just after that, not able to recover and capitalize on these two battling as that gap continues to grow and he starts to fall into the clutches of Moore behind him.
Oh, missing the corner. Coffee is hit by Holden. Holden lets him save it. Holden let him park it, gave him a huge break as they communicate on the radio. And there goes that cushion.
Respectful move there by Holden. Made the mistake and was able to let Coffee save it, let Coffee continue to lead, but look what that's done behind them. It's brought everybody else into the party now. We have 5 cars within striking distance for the battle for the win. This road package has put on a great race so far.
All sorts of battling to close on up. A reset opportunity. Mind you, Harper still in the conversation. Be able to battle things around here. Under a second and a half, the gap between the top three now in this field. Coming to 6 laps to work with. Holden's trying to push like mad to get back up there again.
Gonna have to recover, get back there. Gotta wonder if he hurt his fronts when he locked up there and got into the 54. Probably wasn't too good for Bose. You see a little bit of an understeer there for turn 1, but he got it pretty arced down good on exit. Has a good run here, headed down to the horseshoe.
Just rode the rumble strips, no issues there for Holden. And again, they've built up on raw pace. Another half a second build up on cushion from Harper. Coming up to 5 laps to work with here in the high banks of Daytona and to the infield of it. Looks like Holden just battling with the car a little bit to keep the grip levels where it needs to be here to be able to chip away once again.
On board here with the 59, trying to recover. Hasn't quite been much faster than Coffee that past lap there after the mistake. He's going to need to find a little more to get back to the back bumper of the 54, but he's still going to have 5 more to do it when they get back to the line.
See him pushing on the rig right now. How much he's working to the wheel as it bounces him around. Still cannot seem to break into that 0.8 of a second cushion. Start of this race, there are 27 entrants. 25 took the green flag. Just 17 remain on the racetrack. Comes down to 2 cars for the win. Great run, Holden. Bad run, Coffee. That chews away the gap that Holden was looking to close. No place to send it though. Elects to lift early and wait behind Coffee.
Putting some air on the back bumper of that 54. It's going to affect the handling for the 54, but not enough to make him slide. Coffee gets a good run there. He's going to have a bit of a gap to breathe for the rest of the infield section now if he can execute this corner well.
Trying to play a little aero games on a road course here. Coffee a little bit wider on the exit. Less than 5 laps to go from Daytona. Holden had to lift. Almost carried too much speed following the 54. I know the last time there was a great run built up by Holden for the bus stop. Does he try and do it again? Still needs to find a way to chip away. All while Matt Cox makes a pass on the 42. Moore dropped to 5th, Cox to 4th. As Harper remains in 3rd.
Harper not able to make much of an inroads on that gap in front of him, but look at this. Kyle Holden close to that 54. He's going to have a chance to set up a dive here if he wants to do it. He's looking to the left.
Side by side for the race lead. A little deeper for Coffee. Coffee leaves the arc, makes the corner. Holden tries to get him loose. Couldn't get him loosened up. Instead, Holden loses the ground more than anything else. He'll have to reset again.
Coffee defending with everything he has right now. Holden's thrown multiple punches at the 54 to no avail. The 59 looking for any way around, looking for any mistake out of Coffee. Coffee with the most pressure he's felt all night hasn't made a mistake after he made several earlier. An insane drive out of the 54 to find himself in the situation late.
4 to go. Each time Holden's trying to make a move, it's taken a couple laps to recover. Not too many opportunities left. How does Holden do this? Where does he make this move? Because where he's reached them hasn't worked so far, Jeremy.
No, it has not. And yeah, this is what we talked about earlier. Not any true great passing zones at this racetrack. Opportunities exist, but none of them are good opportunities. They're all difficult passes, risky situations. He's been taking those risks. He's got close to him. Here come to a horseshoe. Might be one of the better corners to try to set it up, but Coffee defends the inside well again.
Yeah, but again, Holden peeling to the inside. A little bit of loosey-loose for Coffee. Coffee having issues with the gears. Sends it harder into the gas through the braking zone. Holden makes contact on the crossover. Yet again, Coffee holds on. But how long can this last? More paint being traded for the race lead.
Coffee threw the elbows out, kind of doored the 59 into the braking zone there, locked it up a little bit, sent him wide. Holden got into his back bumper, gave him a bump on the exit, which actually ended up helping Coffee. We're going to be single file into the bus stop this time. No attempt to pass by the 59 of Holden.
Losing a lot of ground this time. Holden didn't get the run. Now it's another reset. All while Cox has taken the podium positions. Matt Cox into third. Highest we've really seen that car all night long tonight for BMP. A little bit of a loose moment. Holden nearly pushed tight. Coffee still got the better run. 3 to go here from Daytona.
We saw a lap ago, Holden learned where he can get to the 54's back bumper and make him loose. We'll see if he does it again this time into the West Horseshoe. Cox behind them, hoping these two wreck, and that brings him into it. 3 to go, 3 seconds back, but he's still battling Harper. He lost that position to Harper. Harper's back to P3, but these two up front still looking to set up the battle for the lead.
Looking for any sort of run possible. Seen already 3, 4, 5 different chances for Holden. None of them have stuck to be able to make the pass. Coffee again, shallow line. Holden trying to send it to the inside on the curbing. Yet again, another poke. Your contact heading their way to the in and out. Crossover by Holden. Last time they made contact, they do again. This time Holden's got the shorter distance. Better run for Coffee high side. Coffee slams the door.
Holden with a bit of a punt there to Coffee. Coffee was able to hold on to it without getting much momentum and use that wider angle to pull back in front of the 59. Holden has a draft here. He's going to set up a lunge down into the bus stop. Not quite. Coffee blocks high.
They're blocked, but another run built up in the bus stop. It's been strong all day through the long for the 54. 2 laps to go coming up. And Holden's been putting in a lot of punches. Coffee's been withstanding the punches, playing defensive, strong defensive runs. Oh, not a great run to the corner though. Tried his wide arc, then we missed the corner. Here comes Holden. Holden to the inside, better through the gears. Side drop attempt for Coffee. Kyle Holden takes the lead.
Holden waited and waited, made pass attempt after pass attempt, and what it came down to was a mistake by Alex. Coffee gives Holden the lead, but this isn't over. Coffee still has 2 laps to regroup and get back to the 59 and try to mount a charge to take the lead back from Kyle Holden.
Easier said than done. Holden's been having the momentum to be able to push all this time over the course of the run for about 20-30 minutes straight now. Now Coffee losing ground in bunches. Holden much quicker into the West Horseshoe right now. 1 second the distance already.
The rears are gone on Coffee. We saw him sliding lap after lap, doing everything he could to defend the lead from Kyle Holden. Holden was able to just keep his tires on it, just using the naturally superior pace to pressure Coffee into the mistake that inevitably happened a moment ago. And he has now driven away from the 54.
Where Coffee is 1.3 seconds in the course of half a road course. And it's growing. Holden is flying with his speed right now. Head to the bus stop, coming up to the white flag. Interesting day overall. Comes down to this. Can Holden survive another 1 1/4 laps. We'll see. Oh, in some trouble. Barry Sanders having issues coming to the final lap. Able to keep it out of the wall, but the 81 having problems.
Able to save that car, loses a lot of track position there, but he'll be able to continue and finish this race. You see up front here, Cox had fallen back to 4th, now in front of Corey Moore. Harper back up there in 3rd position, has gapped himself from these guys a little bit. Coffey still just over a 1.5 seconds behind our leader of Holden as we took the white flag.
1 to go, brought to you by League Gaming, as Holden looks to finish the job. He had the start of the back after not putting up a qualifying time. He's able to find his way to the front by the end of stage 2. Then picked up a speeding penalty and had to push even harder than he did the previous 2 stages to join the conversation. Now he just needs to make it 3 more quarters of a lap.
Just a handful of mistakes throughout the evening from Coffey was enough for Kyle Holden to recover from his mistake speeding on pit road. Over a 3.5 second lead as Coffey's tires have gone evil on him. Holden just needs to execute this lap without any air.
Dominant final couple laps with his pole. He is running his fastest laps right now in the past while. Hit a bit of the apron there. Harper still holds on to 3rd, trying to close up to the fading Coffey. Half a lap to work with. Right now, Holden can just taste the victory. He hasn't had an error all night, mind you, in that 59 machine. Put himself in a great position.
A great battle between him and Alex Coffey. It was exciting to watch. Harper's going to take one more lunge at Coffey here, but it's all about Holden up front.
Battle for second is on, but for the race win, Kyle Holden survives, able to go from the back to the front. The Victory Designs 188 goes to Kyle Holden. Wins 3.6 seconds over Coffey. Timothy Harper also on the podium.
Just a great battle. Those two put on a show. They raced each other fair. We saw them get a little physical, but that's some good stock car racing on a road course. Both beating and banging each other, and Kyle Holden able to come out victorious. Just such an impressive drive in the 59.
It's a quick break. Celebrations are on. Post-race coverage coming up. Watch Ball on TV for coverage of the OB Builders Cup Series. Welcome back to tonight's coverage here from Daytona as the field looks to finish out after a lengthy road course race for OB Builders. Kyle Holden takes the win by 3.6 seconds over Alex Coffey. Timothy Harper finishes third. Matt Cox and Corey Moore the top 5. Warman Jr., Fetter Place, Wilson, Sanders, and Wyatt, your top 10 tonight.
Paul Gallimore came home in the 11th position tonight, where he started, finishing behind him Jordan Schmidt. Those two battling at the cutoff, finishing right on top of each other, moving into the summer stretch. Nigel Christensen came home in P13, followed by Jose Medina in 14th. Ryan Huff came home in 15th, and the last of our lead lap finishers was Johnny Shade in 16th. Victor Fluger finished 4 laps down in 17th, followed by Taylor in 18th, Jamison Middlemiss in 19th, and Sean Rogers finishing 20th.
21st went the way of Captain Ruff tonight. Chris Davis in 22nd. Mikey floored into the wall in 23rd. Aaron Matthews and Jarrett Clark are the rest of your finishers. Up top to bottom of the running order as Kyle Holden is in the middle of loop-de-loop time. Burnouts for the 59 camp. All part of his trip tonight. And Lily Stickers Victory Lane here at Daytona. Let's take the opportunity to check in with your race winner tonight, Kyle Holden, finishing up his burnouts here. Kyle, how would you describe that final run, having to go back to front again?
That was probably one of the best runs I've ever had here at Daytona. I didn't really think I was going to get through the field as quickly as I did. And luckily, a couple guys made a mistake. Some of them let me by, so we were able to pick up a couple spots quite early. And then we had to battle our way through there a little bit. A lot of guys made mistakes, which kind of led us through. And that battle for the end with Alex, that was probably the most fun I've had in iRacing in a long time.
How difficult was the feel of this car tonight with this new package feel for the road courses?
It's definitely difficult. The tires, like I said, they fall off really quick, and you really got to manage them. You got to be patient to get on that throttle. And dirty air even takes a play a little bit too. Being behind Alex, it really had to make me change my lines a little bit to be able to get that run instead of you used to be able to just stick right behind him. So you're gonna have to change your strategy a little bit and how you drive on these road courses.
So that being said, the first race for Moonshiners with the new oval package next week. Your thoughts for that race?
Tight. Like I said before, it's really tight. So you're gonna want to have clean air as best you can. Don't over push it. Save them tires. They burn off really quick now.
Anyone who want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Of course, huge thanks to Cameron, Simrat Market. Love them being on the car. Engineering Plus, and then Barry for putting on this league, and you guys up in the booth.
Congratulations on the win here tonight.
Appreciate it.
Kyle Holden gets the win. Alex Coffey looked to be the fastest car for a while. 23 laps led. He's with Jeremy.
Alex, we saw you come up just short tonight in an epic battle with Kyle Holden. A handful of mistakes is what allowed that battle to happen. What did you need to do better to keep him from getting to you and having a chance to take the lead?
I don't know, just having to. I put myself behind the 8-ball in stage 2 and had to flip it. So I was on a little older tires. I think we were 5% less at the last caution, percent-wise on the tires. So probably just some even tires and been a little closer, but that was everything I had for them. And I definitely put them in some tough spots. So big shout out to Kyle for not junking me and being patient.
We saw the big slide in turn 1, allowing Tim Harper to get a lead from you before you went and took it back from him. Did all that battling and losing that time, do you think that was what gave him the chance to get to you, or do you have held off to win the race if that didn't happen?
Yeah, just having him on my bumper that many laps, it's kind of. I was running as hard as I possibly could, so you're bound to eventually run into a mistake, especially those huge turtles in that last chicane on the front stretch there. So. If I had a little more time on him, I would have just definitely had to defend for less time, I guess. So would have. Can't really say he wouldn't have got to me, but I would have had to defend for less time. So who knows what would have happened.
Looking ahead a week from now to Pocono, a unique track, only 3 turns, all very different. What are you looking for to bring to the 54 to get out there with some good momentum rolling forward into the summer stretch?
Pocono's all about momentum, so just looking to be smooth there and stay out of trouble. We got a good setup there from Precision Speed Solutions, so we should be pretty dialed in there, and hopefully I can be talking to you again there.
Speaking of Precision Speed Solutions, who else all gets it done for you on the 54?
Shout out to Van Lilly Stickers, primary sponsor, and Precision Speed Solutions, like I said, Pay RVA, Carby's Print Company, Off Axis Paint, Crazy Chuck's Purple Moonshine, Simrat Market, Tilly's, Corridor, and League Gaming. And shout out to Alex Murray, who usually builds our set. He usually has us fast every week. So going into Pocono, we're pretty comfortable with being quick there. Shout out to y'all for doing the broadcast and everybody tuning in.
Well, thanks for putting on a show tonight. Thank you for taking time to speak with us. We look forward to watching you race next week at Pocono.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Now Justin will join our third place finisher, Timothy Harper.
Yes, indeed. Tim Harper able to come away with the top 3 here tonight. Describe your race for us here after you flipped the stage twice in this one.
Very sweaty, I'd say. It was a lot of fun. Few less mistakes. I feel like, we probably could have had a good battle there, but tires were just about gone. They were already, pretty good ways down after I flipped that last stage whenever I pitted just for fuel. So I knew it was going to be a handful to try to stay out front. Cal was really fast, and he came to the field quicker than I expected. So,
how would you describe your feel with this new package so far for the service?
I really like it. Not at road courses, but air packing is really, really key there. But the tire wear on the road courses is really nice now. I'm glad that you have to take tires. It just, made for a crappy race, in my opinion, when you just had to get fuel and go,
So your approach now for Pocono next week?
Practice a lot, or as much as I can. Try to save the tire the best I can, and hopefully be good on the long run. If we need a short run, hopefully we can make some adjustments for that. But just try to be good on the long run. I think long run's going to be key there, as long as we don't get a lot of cautions. But we shouldn't. It's not too hard to drive. So just hopefully we get good long runs and have good long run pace.
Congratulations once again. Any on the run here tonight, Tim?
Let's thank Precision for all the sets that Alex puts into it. Thanks Alex Coffee for building this week's set. It's pretty good. Van Lilly's stickers, Pay RVA, my mom, happy late Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Thank y'all for the broadcast. I'm sure it's phenomenal. Can't wait to watch it. And just everybody out there watching, appreciate you guys tuning in.
Thank you very much for your time, Timothy. Congrats.
Thank you.
Tim Harper rounds out the top 3 interviews. I'd like to thank the entire top 3 for speaking with us during post-race coverage here on Ballin TV. Pocono Raceway, as mentioned, next week, June 25th, 8 p.m. the start time. Be sure to tune in from the Pocono Mountains. It should be a treat as these drivers learn the oval field. On the note here, Jeremy, your final thoughts on tonight before we head to the Pocono Mountains.
Yeah, just a great race. I think that's one of the best races I've seen the Cup car put on a road course in the sim in quite a few years, and I think we can really attribute that to the new build and moving to Pocono. One of my 2 home tracks live dead in the middle between Dover and Pocono. Love both the racetracks evenly, and really looking forward to watching that race. The Tricky Triangle, what turn 4?
We'll have to see. On that note, it's just about time to say goodbye. I'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's coverage here on Ballin TV of the Victory Designs 188 of the Daytona Road Course. For our producer, DJ Line, for my co-announcer, Jeremy Miller, I'm Justin Burton saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. You've been watching the OB Builders Cup Series from Daytona.